on another cold Thursday morning. And it is all about the weather right now. Because there isn't much going on. All is quiet right now. It's like the calm before the storm. There we go. That's what it feels like right now. The calm before the storm in Iran.
Stay there, stay
All right. What's going on, Mom?
here. I'm letting him stay down
Yeah,
there.
let him stay here.
Staying over here.
Oh, you're going to stay here now while I'm live? Okay. All right. So anyway, it seems like it's definitely the calm before the storm. And it's definitely the calm before the storm, literally here before this crazy snow ice storm affects a lot of the country. As I just come on live. I'll share the screen. And by the way, on a side note, there is no freaking way, no way, that ICE should be allowed to go into anyone's home without a warrant. That's crossing a line. All law enforcement, anything, should have a warrant. I don't care if it's ICE, police, whatever. That's crossing a line for me. They should have a warrant. Not that they can enter anyone's home without a warrant. That's just nuts. That's crazy. The law is the law. There should be a warrant when you enter someone's home. That's pushing the envelope overboard. That's not acceptable to me. And this is why I say I'm independent, I'm moderate, but that's just insane. That you can just go walk into anybody's house without a warrant. No, absolutely not. Because again, that sets up a threshold, a precedent. So if it's not ICE, what's next? This has to be stopped right where it begins. Because if you don't, then that opens the doorway for other agencies to just think that they could walk into your house without a warrant. This is not a good precedent. You can't allow this. You cannot allow ICE to go into anyone's home without a warrant. That's unacceptable, in my opinion. That's way overboard. And I hope the courts get involved because that's not the law. You just can't, that is the law. They have to have a warrant, whether it's the police or federal. All of a sudden, we're going to exclude ICE to go into a home without a warrant? No, that doesn't fly. Not for me. But that's just my opinion. That sets up a very, very, really, a precedent that we don't want to go to. Because once you allow one, then the others might say, well, we don't need a warrant either if we have probable cause or whatever. Uh-oh. Hello? All right,
Okay, it will return back to the sender.
thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Bye bye. What a mess. This post office is an absolute. This post office here is a disaster.
Oh, yeah, because in New York.
There, it's a disaster here. So now I gotta call somebody to let them know the package has been sent back because this is just insanity. They don't know how to forward the mail to the PO box.
Then they don't belong to be working here.
I don't want to bother him. I don't know what he's doing. They sent package back to you. Make sure you put PO. All right, that's resolved. All right, John. I mean, is it me? I know I'm going to talk about the weather in a second, but this shit about going into a person's home without a warrant is unacceptable. I don't care who it is. That's the law. Whether it's federal, state, local, this bullshit about allowing ICE to go into anyone's home without a warrant is unacceptable. Unacceptable. We cannot allow that precedent to be established. No way. No way. The law is the law. You need a warrant. You want to go into somebody's house? Get a warrant. It's that simple. Get a warrant. Probable cause. Show probable cause. Why you need to go into this home. That's the way it works. Not that you could just go into anybody's house at any given time because you feel like going to somebody's house because you suspect something's going on in there. But if you suspect something going on in there, that means you have probable cause. Go get your warrant. That's the way it's done. This shit is crazy now. Now, this is getting crazy. It's getting crazy. I just caught that on an email because I don't watch the mainstream media news. ICE to, I don't know what is going on, but they want to be able to go into homes without a warrant? What? What the fuck is that about? This is like, you know, some crazy shit out of Germany. Really? No probable cause? I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be. Don't get me wrong. You know, with all, I don't want to get involved with all the politics with ICE and all this. I'm just saying on what its face value is, the law, the feds, state, local, all need warrants to enter someone's home. Unless there's a call, there's a, you know, and there's an incident going. But my God, we're going to just allow them to go anywhere they want, anytime, without a warrant, and just enter any premises because they have suspicion. If you have suspicion, go to the court, get a warrant, and do it the right way. No, unacceptable. Unacceptable. The law is the law, and I hope, because it's probably going to be fought all the way to the Supreme Court, I hope the Supreme Court does the right thing on this. Hold on, I got to mute because I'm live. Anyway, I know I was muted. I had to mute. I was on a phone call. Work related. Anyway, I was on mute for a reason. Everybody's saying no audio. You're on mute. Yes, I was on the phone. Oh my gosh. That's too funny. Anyway, let me start TikTok before I go too far. We got to look at this weather. I just wanted to say that off the bat about this. And I got the email, something about ICE wants to be able to go into anywhere without a warrant. I was like, what? Without a warrant? Any premise, any home without a warrant? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. But again, it's going to get forward all the way to the Supreme Court, and it's going to be interesting how the Supreme Court would decide on that one. Because if the state, the federal, and local need a warrant, why is ICE exclusive to having a warrant? Their probable cause? They have their own probable cause justice system that they could just go in because they think something's going on without showing any evidence of it to a judge to get a warrant? I don't think so. Hell no. And this has nothing to do with the politics of it. This has to do with the law. Bottom line, law. If, like I said, the feds have to do it, state police, local police, whatever have to do it, they should do it too. They're not excluded from, what the hell is that? They're to be excluded from having warrants? They could just crash through your door because they have their own probable cause that something's going on here? No. Hell no. That sounds more like a vigilante force. That doesn't sound like a law enforcement. That sounds like vigilanteism. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm done with that rant. I just saw it on an email. I was like, what the hell's going on? Oh my God, the weather's going to be so bad for a lot of people in the country. We might get 2 feet of snow here. 2 feet. My gosh. There are winter storm watches and all that all over the place. I'm going to go to the maps now. Okay, let's look at windy first. I'm going to tell you, I hope people are prepared down south. I really hope people are prepared down south. Because you're about to get hit with ice, really cold weather. I've been saying this for almost a week now. About the upcoming weather. Not that anybody listens. But I've been talking about this for a week. Let's do this. Let's just do this. Okay. So, the cold temperatures, you got to see the wind chills coming down here. The temperatures being driven by this cold air coming down. Oh my gosh. The wind chills are like below zero here, easily. Look, it's minus 15. Could you imagine what the wind chill would be with these winds? Minus 19. Oh my God, it must feel like minus 40. I'm like, oh, that's crazy cold air coming down. And you... What's this? Oh God, now what? How do we get here? Wait. Set up a YouTube channel. Okay. So anyway, let's go because I'm getting distracted from other things going on. Look at this cold air being driven down all the way. This is incredible. This is going to be a nasty storm. This is going to be bad for a lot of people. I mean, it's covering almost the entire country. Sign in, create account, and take it from there. Add banner, add layouts. I can help later. Oh my God. Somebody's needing my help. This always happens. That's why it's nonstop. But forget about this, because the maps a lot of people aren't going to understand anyway. This is what is important. This right here. Look at the ice down south here. That's crazy. Is my fire going out? My fire looks like it's going out. I gotta get this fire going. No bueno. No bueno. Ow. Okay, my fire is going out. Look at that ice. In Texas, northern Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Carolinas. Look at this ice. Of course, up here is snow. Look at the snow up here. I mean, look at this. So much snow and sleet may occur that roads could become clogged in areas ill-equipped to handle even a light coating, let alone several inches, from Texas and Oklahoma to the Mississippi Valley. In areas where a thick glaze of ice forms, scores of trees and power lines may come down, and removing ice from streets, highways, parking lots, and sidewalks may be difficult or impossible, especially when ice melting supplies are limited. Utility crews could be overwhelmed by the scope of the storm. This is going to be so bad. So if you live in these areas, please prepare. Please prepare. I don't use the American model. I use the Euro. I am not a fan of the American at all. I'm a Euro fan when it comes to the models. I do not do the American model. But look at this ice. Oh my God. If you live down south, you really need to prepare now. Get supplies, because you may not be able to go out for a few days with this, because the temperatures are going to stay cold. They're not going to warm up for a while. So this stuff is not going to melt. Friday night. You can see the ice. The ice is worse than snow. Ice is, a disaster for wires, like it said, power lines, trees, everything. Driving, impossible. Look at this. This is crazy. I'm going to get hit with a lot of snow, I know it. Now this is the snow. I'm in the blue. This has been upgraded. This is old. Right near DC, they're expecting maybe 2 feet of snow. It says 6 to 12 by me, but they bumped that up locally. It's now 10 to 18. So yeah, this is bad.
Yeah.
Mom, please, God. I've told you about this when I'm live.
But I want to ask you a question.
All right, what's the question?
This guy's getting in Boston too?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm going to have to call him.
So Starla's in chat on TikTok. She says, I'm very concerned. I'm in Western North Carolina. I'm trying my best. 6 degrees here Monday night is what they're saying. I'd rather have snow than ice. Anybody would rather have the snow than ice. Ice is the absolute worst, Starla. It's the worst. So there's going to be a lot of people affected by this storm. And that's why I would say you still have time. You have like 48 hours, really, to prepare, do it now. Just buy, enough supplies, food, the things that you need.
Is that in Boston too?
Oh, Jesus. Yes, Mom.
Why are you having
I'm live. I'm live. I'm
Okay,
live.
I'm
I told you about this.
question so I could call
We've had a
you.
discussion about this when she talks behind the, in the background when I'm live.
Oh,
Anyway, so if you're a place that has power outage prone stuff go on, you should get ready for that. When you have these kind of storms going through, ice storms, you should definitely prepare for power outage. They put you in a state of emergency already. They wiped out the stores already by you. Wow, she lives in Western North Carolina. They said the stores are all emptied out, and they already issued a state of emergency where she is. My friend Starla on TikTok. So that's a problem in itself. Getting supplies now because people are aware of this storm and they're prepping and they're like anything else. You know how it goes. The shelves get emptied out quick. Yes, John. Like John is saying, stock up by tomorrow, Friday. If it's yeah, it is. The storm we had is going to make it a superstorm. Hi, Morgan, and axonometry, ice baby. Yeah, right. Canada needs to keep their weather. Yeah, Annie's in that ice. There's going to be a lot of people affected in that ice. And they're saying it could be an inch. An inch of ice. That's crazy. It may not seem like a lot. An inch of ice is madness. Because remember, it's going to remain cold in these areas for a week. So just because you know, a lot of people say, oh, it's going to ice, it'll melt. Oh, no, it's not. Not for a few days. Because you're going to be locked in the cold. This cold air is dropping so far down south, and it's going to stay that way. Why don't we look at that? So this is Saturday. Let me just get this.
I'm gonna call Eric.
You could see how far south this cold air is. This is Saturday morning. And it's still, oh, Jesus. It's still in the upper 30s, low 40s, and the 50s here on Saturday morning. It retreats a little bit. It's dipping down here. A little boost here from these Gulf. What is going on? From this Gulf warm air trying to come up, give it a little turn. I'll be right back. Okay. And now look at the reinforcement. Look at the reinforcement of this Arctic blast coming down. The Carolinas and Georgia coastline for now on Monday. Okay. But look at the rest of the country. I mean, if you look at these temperatures, they're in the 20s and teens. Look at Texas. Teens. Now that's at 8 a.m., so let's go to 12 or 3 p.m. 30s throughout Texas. 30s, teens, and 20s. This is some cold teens. Tennessee, 32. I mean, this is some cold air. And then it retreats on Tuesday. Still in the 30s. Still in the 30s. And why I say this, because whatever ice falls is going to take time to melt. That's the point. And then finally, still at 10 a.m., it's still in the 20s, teens, 20s. Look at this. Look at these temperatures. So don't think. Then it gets into the 40s on Wednesday. At least here. But still cold points north. Tennessee, Kentucky, etc. Virginia. And then finally, it's bumping, it's retreating a little bit. But still chilly. Look at this. It's 12 noon on Thursday. Atlanta, 28. Look how chilly this air is holding in until finally this gets established. The warmer air coming from the Gulf warms it up. So you're looking at days of cold. Days. And look, it's not going to be warm here for 2 weeks. But look how it hangs in there. It retreated over here a little bit. This is next Friday. This is a week away. I mean, yeah, I hear you, Dissolve. I'm prepared too. Gotta be. What's going on? Let me catch up. Stock up if you can and think about heat and lights. That's what I was saying earlier. I'm in northern Minnesota and woke up to minus 43 degrees with the wind chill. The cold is coming for everyone east of me. Yep. I mentioned about your wind chill up there when I first started. What's up, Jake? Power is the problem, especially if you have power lines. A lot of places have underground power, but over here, like where I live in New York, it's above ground. We're not gonna have ice. We're gonna have snow. But if you have that ice and you've got those power lines and you've got trees, and this is bad. So you got to think about power. You definitely got to think about your heat. You definitely got to think about your pipes. If that's something you need to consider, your pipes freezing, that's the worst. And also food, water, any kind of backup power system that you may have. I mean, that's key. So, like I said, don't think it's going to get warm right away. It's going to take time for this cold to retreat and move east out by. This is a week away. Look at this cold air up to the north. And look at it. It's sinking again. Look at this. Look at this. This is next week. The cold air comes right back. Look at that. So we're going to have to deal with this, and I already know I'm going to deal with this for 2 weeks at least. Look how far south it's dipping. 17? Are you serious? Tala, is that for real? 19 in the Panhandle at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning, the 1st? This is crazy cold. Teens. New Orleans, 21. Look at Texas in the teens. This is predicted for next weekend. It's like the entire country, well, half, more than half. Let me see Jacksonville. 28 degrees in Jacksonville. At 12 noon on Sunday, they're predicting. Look at the Panhandle, how cold. Teens. That far south, that's unbelievable. Of course, the further you go down to Florida, but they're going to be in the 30s. In Florida, in the Panhandle, the teens. That's how far down south this cold is going. 30s. Orlando, 43. Even down there. Look at that, in the 40s. Then, of course, the heat is... Look at this. 50 degrees in Miami. Look at the cold air coming down. Even there, 50 degrees the high in Miami on Sunday. That's cray-cray. They're telling you to prepare for 2 weeks. That's what I'm saying. I've been saying this for over like a week now about these models. Now, I got to go back. And this is the euro, by the way. I don't use the American at all. This is what I want to see. I want to see about me. Where's that low pressure? Way down there. It's now here. It's coming up the coast. That's not good. Where did it go? It went offshore quick.
It's 40 degrees and mostly sunny right
Alexa,
now.
stop.
To-
The low pressure's here. But let me back up a little. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. If this even develops stronger than it looks like right now, we in trouble. If this were to bomb out,
The Knicks crushed the
Alexa,
Nets
stop.
120
we will get crushed. Because you see, there's like two disturbances here. There's like a low here and another one here. It's not organized. If this were to organize, this is a traditional nor'easter, we're done. We're done. I mean, they're predicting probably 6 to 10 here now. If this bombs out and it becomes more organized, we're toast. We're going to get 2 feet of snow. Let me see what the American, I don't like to use the American, but I just want to see it. See, the American has the low here. And that's even worse because of the onshore flow. Think of the ocean being a lake effect. Just like they get the lake effect from the winds coming over. Well, this same thing happens here with the winds coming in, brings all that moisture in the cold. That's a lot of moisture. That's a machine. That's a snow machine. That's what that is. A snow-making machine. See, this worries me a little bit more. The American worries me more. Because of this onshore flow. It's going to bring that heavy snow in. So both models, I got to wait. Really? Saturday. Because this is going into Monday morning. So yeah, this could be really serious for so many people, including me. With the heavy snow. I'm trying to read what everybody's writing. Yeah, like I said, like somebody said, I think it was Dissolve Google on Tubadillo. Just get ready now. If you can, prepare. Because the cold is going to hang in there for at least a week, if not more. Prepare. Candace says, yeah, lake effect sucks, trust me. Yeah, it did. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the pipes are an issue. Freezing pipes. You're right, Candace. That's a major issue. And that's a very costly major issue. When your pipes freeze, oh my God. See, in my pipes, I have antifreeze that goes through the baseboard. So there's antifreeze mixed with the water that heats up the baseboards because I have oil heat. And I think it's made for like minus 30 degrees. That helps to have that antifreeze in the line. If it's straight up water, that's a problem. It pays to have somebody, you spend $100. They have this special 5-gallon pail that they mix with the water into the lines. So you have antifreeze in those lines to help the pipes. That's a game changer. So, like I said, prepare. Definitely prepare for this. Yeah, for the people that are getting the ice, you don't want that ice. You'd rather snow than ice. Oh, yeah, Candace. So, again, the weather's going to be really serious in the next few days. That happens to me with the pipes. We had faucets to run a little to keep it from freezing. Yes, absolutely. That's a good idea. Absolutely. Let that water continually run. To help avoid your pipes freezing and busting, keep your cold water. He just said it too. He just said it too. To help avoid your pipes freezing and bursting, keep your cold water running on a fast drip, slow trickle. Also have a space heater pointed directly at your pipes. That's if you can. That is a major issue. Freezing pipes, bursting pipes. It's major. Especially, you know, there's a lot of places down south that are just not built for this cold weather. Or snow. Or ice. Not only that, remember what happened a few years ago with the power. Was it in Texas? Their infrastructure? With the power issues that they had? So, and this is going to be a prolonged cold spell. It's always good to have, but as I say this, it's always good to have a backup generator. Just don't put it inside the house or in your garage. Make sure it's outside, where it's ventilated, well ventilated outside. Do not put it in your house or in your garage thinking that's okay. With that carbon monoxide, the invisible killer. Like if I showed you, and I can, but first I want to see what they're predicting for me. We're not in any winter storm warning yet. Oh, I mean watch. Not yet. It says though, major winter storm this weekend will cause significant travel disruptions already. Without even going to the forecast, that's what it's saying for me. The winter storm watches will start probably this afternoon, evening. They'll issue them here. Okay. Oh my God. They're talking Saturday 6 to 10. All right, no, the total storm amounts they're calling for here is 6 to 10. That's what they're saying here. That's still a foot of snow. Probably. It's 75% now. They increased it. 6 to 10. 75%. See, like for me, I'll show you. I gotta feed the cats. Poor cats. So, I gotta feed them right now. On this side, you can't see it. But right behind this, on the wall, is a plug for my generator. It's right here. Somewhere in there. It's a plug for the generator to attach to. And of course, it goes to the box. So my generator will be sitting right out here, and it's a big one. It weighs 200 pounds on wheels. It's insane. My generator will be sitting right here if I lose power, which I'm not going to because it's snow here. Snow's not a problem. But if I lose power, this is where it gets plugged into. Outside, into a plug that goes directly into the box. Severe weather advisory and winter storm watches. The winter storm watches are like widespread everywhere right now. They're everywhere. John, you should check it. Navi says, we had wind and freezing weather issues. We did have for a week no power, so the army came in to help and cut the trees and brought food and supplies for people. That's amazing. That's awesome. So yeah, that's where I plug my generator in. And we've already there's like a little bit more than a half a foot of snow out there already. That's not going anywhere. Put another foot on top of that. So it's just going to pile. Let me go feed the cats while I'm talking about this. I got to get firewood too for that now. Got to feed the cats. I know the one is there, but I don't know. Oh, is that the other one? Yeah, the other one is there now. Here she comes. There's the other one. She was out prowling. Now they're out. Now they're going on the little prowl, walk around, then they'll go back into their heated houses. That's so awesome. Isn't it though? That's awesome. And it's heated, that's why they're in there. There's 2 houses there. You can't see the other one, but there's one big one here, it has an extra room. And then there's another one here. You can't see it because of the tarp. So there's 2 of them. 2 houses. That's pretty cool, right? It's cute. Now what I do need to do, which I won't do now, I have 2 new heating pads, which I need to definitely find so I know where they are in the event that those go bad. I have the backups ready to go. I have 2 of them. 2 brand new outdoor heating pads for them. Just in case. Which I have them. I just gotta find them now because that makes me worry because it's gonna be really, 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 really cold. If they were to fail, I have to have another one ready to go, and I gotta check it every day. No news about the Carrier. You're not gonna know. Last I heard, it passed the southern point. That's what I heard, but I don't know if it's true. Of India. What the hell was that? I just heard like a big, that could be the snow sliding off the solar panels. That was a big thud. And you could see other people talking about it too. It's not just me. They may not be waiting for the Carrier, but the Carriers. I'm hearing a lot more people saying that. Now, I've been saying it. We're not just maybe waiting for 1, 2. But I'm starting to see other people say the same thing now. I'm like, I've been saying that. So it may not just be the one. There might be one crossing the Atlantic and going into the Mediterranean. At least one. Is it the Washington? Is it the Bush? I don't know. I'm betting more on the Washington. Yeah, it may not be one. It may be 2. Oh, the Ford is having issues? So Starla says the Ford is having issues, so it's probably the Washington. Good. Starla just gave me that update on TikTok. She said the USS Gerald Ford is having issues. So it looks like it'll be 2. Because I know the Washington was near the East Coast, and yes, because of age. That's what Starla's saying. Now this is what she's saying on TikTok chat. So I'm taking her word for it. The taller you are, the more issues you start to get. Or the older you are. Which one? Both? Both? I think. Yeah, exactly. Both. Like Dawn said, both. Yeah, I would say there's probably going to be at least 2 Carriers. And they're not going to do anything until everything's in place. And there's a lot going into Jordan. There's also a lot going into Cyprus, Greece. There's a lot going in there too. So it's not just Jordan. Keep an eye on what's going on in Cyprus. There's a lot of movement going on there too. So they can have the refuelers. They can hit, come back. I would be interested to know if the RAF, I don't know, because we all know, we don't know how the UK, these other countries, but the UK has a base also. Would they allow us to use it? I mean, they're letting us use Diego Garcia. Maybe we need to take that base over. Let me not start a controversy right now. Oh my gosh. And good morning, James. We actually got a warning for extreme cold, exploding... What? Exploding tree warning? I've never heard of that. Exploding... I've never heard of that before. An exploding tree warning. What the heck is that? Alexa, what is an exploding tree warning?
An exploding tree warning isn't an official term, but it's trending due to extreme cold forecasts. It refers to frost cracks that can occur when temperatures drop rapidly below -20 degrees Fahrenheit, causing trees to make loud cracking noises. Would you like to learn more about frost cracks in trees?
No. Oh my God.
All right, no problem.
No wonder I never heard of that before. What? Good morning, Navi. Again, I see what you're writing. I'd never heard of that before, where it drops so rapidly and the trees start, you hear sounds from the trees from cracking. Oh my gosh. Because she just put that in, they got a warning. I never heard of that before. Bush in Norfolk, my cousin is on that one. Last I heard was a week ago. They were doing some training maneuvers out off there last week. I saw that. I did see that. But it may have gone back and maybe it's having issues. Makes sense, but I've never experienced it. The most major issue on the Ford is sewage issues. This is what Starla's telling me. Sewage issues. That's not a good thing, to have sewage issues. There's usually a cargo station by the Red Sea and the Mediterranean, but Venezuela mixed things up. Yes, not only that, there are quite a few carriers under maintenance right now. So we're spread thin right now. Trees take a lot of water in the fall. When it gets cold enough, it freezes and expands. Sometimes they do actually explode a small spot out on the trunk. It sounds like a cannon shot. Wow. I've never experienced that before. That's all new to me. This is something totally new. Which is fine. It's good to learn new things, right? But it could be moved by now. Well, I'm going to show you a photo, but this is couple of weeks old now. If I find it. Because I would have to do research to get the latest, and they're not going to, they're not going to show us. I know everybody wants to know, but that's crazy to even think that they would do something like that. I got to see if I find the photo. All right, here. Just take, this is old. This is from the 5th. This is the problem. You have 4 carriers. Excuse me. Dealing with maintenance issues. The Truman, the Eisenhower, Reagan, Stennis. They're all under maintenance. That takes 4 carriers off the board right away. We know this one is here in Venezuela. Now the 4 is the George H.W. Bush, but that ain't going nowhere. I don't think that's going anywhere. We know that this one, number 2, the Lincoln, is being moved to here, near Iran. Now, oddly enough, it has, where's number 3, the Washington? Over here. the Washington is here. They're not gonna bring that sucker down also to come here. I don't know. I heard the Washington was not in that location. I heard the Washington was off the East Coast. I don't know what the heck is going on. Maybe it's just misinformation to confuse. But the Washington is near Japan. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. And the Nimitz is getting decommissioned, allegedly. How do we know? Do we know that for sure? Look, Nimitz, decommissioning, Washington State, up here. And this is from the 14th of January. So that's a week ago. You know what I mean? So, who knows? Just because it shows this doesn't mean it to be accurate. I don't think they're leaving the Asian Pacific area with zero presence. They've got to have at least one carrier there. Because of China, North Korea, Russia. There has to be a carrier in the area. You cannot leave that vacant. So, is the Bush in port? For sure? Ford hasn't had a break since deployment. I got a what? All right, I don't want to bring that up right now, Stala. You could text me that privately. Because there's a lot going on in that specific topic area, but I don't want to bring that up here now, you know what I mean? But you could definitely private message me on TikTok. Because that's a whole different topic, you know what I mean? Exactly, we don't know, and we're not supposed to know. We're not supposed to know. They move somewhere nobody knows. Sean, again, it's probably reached the southernmost point of India and is starting to make that turn into the Arabian Sea, if I had to guess. At least by now. Okay, Stala. You would think by tomorrow, or at the latest Saturday, it's in the area where it needs to be. So we may have to go in with the one carrier. And maybe that's why they know, and they're putting a lot of assets in Jordan and in Greece and other islands in the area, because they know they don't got the carrier, but they can launch from those islands with refuelers. The British do it all the time. All the time. When you hear about the UK hitting targets in Syria, they're using their Voyager refueler. And it depends what they're using as far as... I'm hearing some weird shit. Typhoons or whatever they're using. But I'll show you on Flight Radar. But not to look at Flight Radar, because we're not going to see anything on Flight Radar. Drones, refuelers, C-17s, Hercules, Poseidons, the typical stuff. People get all excited. They have to. They're doing recon and surveillance. They have to do that. But you're only going to see what they want you to see. It's like people read too much into it, including myself at the beginning. Okay, so right now, look. The UK is actually landing or taking off right now from their base in Cyprus. Watch. And what they would do is they would have their fueler, and I would guess that's a Voyager. It's at the base right now. That's the RAF base. Right here. And I guarantee that's a Voyager. Voyager. That's their refueler. So a lot of the times when they were striking targets in Syria, you would see a couple of typhoons along with this come in, and then you would see them go into Jordan, and then come up, and then they would disappear, and they would go in, do what they're doing, then they would reappear, the fueler and the fighters, and then they would go back here. So that's what the UK was doing. Here's one coming in. They got a C-17 coming in. Now, what we've been doing, believe it or not, there's been a lot of U.S. activity here. And I don't know what the hell this is, but that's where I've seen a lot of U.S. activity coming into also here. And of course, Jordan. So they're getting their shit in place. THAADs, Patriots, defensive measures here. Because this is going to be the shield that they're trying to create for Israel. Because they know it's coming. They know it's coming. No doubt about it. So they're doing everything they can. This is a tanker. This is the typical stuff you see all the time. Tanker. You'll see the drone out there. That could be the Q or, yep, there it is, MQ-4C Triton. Gathering intelligence in the Persian Gulf. It's been flying around. That thing could stay up for like 18, 24 hours. So they're monitoring. That thing goes at like 50,000 feet high. It's at 46,000 right now. This is such an impressive drone. Oh my gosh. Have you ever seen it? It's amazing. It's amazing. I heard they never moved the one from the China Seas and they try to keep one or two near the homeland. Absolutely, John. But there were two. There was one in the South China Seas not far from Taiwan, but there's another one in Japan. So there's two presents there. They moved the other one, the Lincoln, from the South China Sea. But there's still one there, near Japan. So this is what's going on right now. There's not much. And you're not going to see much. Not for a few days at the least. And you watch the civilian traffic. Eastern Iraq. You could see the flow. A lot of air traffic over Iran. So it ain't nothing going to happen in the next couple of days at the minimum. It's just not. Not until everything's in place. If. I don't think it's an if. I think it's a when. I honestly think it's going to happen. I do. I can't guarantee it. You know, nobody can. It's up to the president. But I think something's going down. That's just my opinion. Exactly. You got the subs. And believe me, there are destroyers present right now. Cruisers. There's stuff there now. But is it enough? And are we ready? I've been saying this since over a week. We're not ready yet. When we are, then. Operation Desert Storm, the first strike in that war was delivered by one of our subs. Yeah, of course. They'll send Tomahawks, cruise missiles. Did you see that the Iranians tested an ICBM? And it was launched towards Siberia. The Russians gave them permission. There's a lot going on. I want to see if he posted anything about Iran on Truth Social. It's all domestic and Greenland. Nothing. He's been very quiet. And I mean really quiet the last few days on Truth Social in regards to Iran. like nothing. Nothing. And you got to watch out when he's quiet like that about a specific. A lot of this he's talking about is domestic related and Greenland. Yeah, this is all old. So nothing coming out on Truth Social as far as Iran is concerned. Let me see. Checking X now. Let me just see what Lindsay. I always start with Lindsay because Lindsay talks a lot. He just talks a lot. Too much sometimes. Just talks too much. He was in Davos. I'm honored to be with President Trump and his team at the Davos World Economic Forum, as POTUS laid out a bold vision for our common defense. So he was there. And then 20 hours ago, this is what he wrote. I was unnerved by statements being made by people involved in the Iran file, suggesting that if the Ayatollah could change his ways, we might be able to reach an agreement with the regime. Anyone who believes that the Ayatollah is remotely interested in changing his ways does not understand the history of the Ayatollah and the murderous regime. That's the same as believing someone could have done a deal with Hitler. They were wrong then about Hitler, and they are wrong now about the Ayatollah. Adolf Hitler wanted a master race governed by a superiority of the Aryans. The Ayatollah is a religious Nazi who wants a world religion that he governs. Both are sick. You cannot do a deal with evil. You have to confront it. In this case, that means standing behind the people of Iran. That's what Lindsay posted 20 hours ago. So he's speaking out about it. That's Lindsay. Now, a lot of people call him a war hawk, that he's been wanting this forever. And you may be right. So there's, depends. Let's see if he posted anything. I don't see anything new from Reza Pahlavi. No, nothing new from him. If you guys saw what Giuliani was writing about the Crown Prince, you'd be like, what the? And I truly believe he's in the pockets of the MEK. There's just, I don't even know if I doubt it anymore. I don't know what happened to him. Oh, yeah. Look, I said it just now, and look, 2 hours ago, this is what he posts. And he's throwing the MEK in there. This is what he's doing. Rudy Giuliani, 2 hours ago. She entered prison naive, wanted only to study. She left a determined woman, believing and supporting the MEK, the main Iranian opposition group. He's all about the MEK. He's all about the MEK. And of course, the other stuff, but he's all up in the MEK. And Goldie was right. She was the one who really brought this up. And a lot of it is domestic. I know I'm skipping that. We're not getting into all that. I'm looking for the MEK stuff. And he has posted it. He's taken some shit down. And I was like shocked at some of the shit he was saying. It's coming. Yeah, he's talking about a lot of domestic. My God. It's not surprising. I can't find it. Monday. He's definitely wrong on this part. Okay. I'm seeing if he mentions anything about his support of the MEK. He took it down. I honestly think he took it off because people were going after him. But he went nuts and people were going after him. He had to take it down, what he said. He took it down. Look at this. You see? It's starting to come in here. Also, we will explain how the Nepo Baby Shah's attempt to take the throne is bitterly opposed by the ethnic minorities who were particular targets of Pahlavi Savik torture. Look at this. He's going heavy after Pahlavi. I'm telling you that right now. He's going heavy after him. But he may have taken down the crazy post he put up. We know about that. This is older post, but it was in the older post that he went after Pahlavi big time. Here, look. The appearance on Fox News of the unemployed heir of the last Iranian dictator who had initiated the savage secret police, the Savak, built the very prisons of terror being used by the Islamic regime and stole at least as much, is a tragic reminder of prior American mistakes. He's been going, the MEK provided key intel on Iran's nuclear program, revealing sites like Fordow. The MEK has substantial resources and have effectively spread those resources into almost every place you are seeing major protests. Justice will come for decades of crime and awful medals. The people deserve it. But look, MEK, everything with him is MEK. So he's got a pattern. And you should have seen the post he wrote targeting Pahlavi, and it was so bad he had to take it down. So bad he had to take it down. Going after Pahlavi and his family, calling them criminals, crooks. He had to take it down. People were like, are you supportive of MEK? So you would have to look at his prior posts and see the history of him and his connection with the MEK. And Goldie was right. Goldie was on the money with the MEK. And he's definitely MEK supporter. So they don't want Pahlavi. And look at the MEK's history. Goldie's gone through it in detail. Before it's unbelievable. She did an excellent job going over the MEK and their history. Excellent. Her and Armin. Excellent. Because people need to understand that part too. And that's very important. Because there are some that do not want to see Reza Pahlavi going to Iran. Stop it with Tycho, please. Tycho's in the house. So there's that part of it too. Something going on in my neighborhood. That's ambulances. Hold on, I'm getting a whole bunch of messages. Now they're saying 12 plus inches here. Tycho's underneath the big bed in the big room. Major storm threatens northeast with heavy snow. They're changing. They're upgrading, not updating the forecasts again. Saying it looks like we're going to get heavier snow than expected. Lovely. Help is on the way, Navi. Help is on the way. I am telling you, the president will not portray himself in a way of being weak. That's not his style. He's going to act. I am pretty much convinced of that. The president will take action. Like I said, when is different. But I think it's done. You think he wants to negotiate after he said there needs to be new leadership in Iran? You think he wants to negotiate with the current leadership after saying that? That means there is no diplomacy at this point. There is no negotiations. He's clearly said there needs to be new leadership in Iran. That means he can't work with the current one. There needs to be new leadership. And how does that happen? He's going to take action. Now, if you notice, he's really quiet about Iran. He's not saying anything. There's no rhetoric, nothing. He's being silent on it. Maybe he's saying stuff on networks, Fox News or something, but as far as True Social posting, not a thing. Not since before Davos. So I think you're not going to hear much from him at all until shit is hitting the fan. That's just my opinion. We're going to have to all wait and see. But I don't think we're going to hear much now. I don't think you're going to hear much from Israel either. It's almost like this crazy storm that's coming to a lot of us here in the States on the literal sense. This seems like the quiet before the storm in the Middle East. Oh boy. What does that mean? What does that mean? She comes in here and she says some weird things. Weird to remember that the old U.S. backed Shah was only overthrown in 79. That's not ancient history. It's 47 years ago. But there were people born into it. A lot of youth in Iran. They didn't know what existed before. Their parents, but they have no idea. They were born into this regime-controlled Iran. They know nothing else. Think of somebody who's 24, 27. They've known no other lifestyle. They've known nothing of that. They may have heard stories, from their parents or grandparents or something like that, but to them, they were born under this. That's horrible. So, but I get what you're saying. It's not that long ago. But if you want to take it that way, it's been less than 100 years since World War II. That ain't that long ago. If you want to put it in that kind of perspective. So, and other wars. I mean, a lot's happened in the last century. So who knows? All I know is if we're going to do this, we have to go in with everything blazing. And I mean, this has to be, this may, like I said, yesterday or the day before. This may be something that the world has not seen in a long time. The utmost use of force. It could be. This could be big. Like really big. Something we have not seen in recent memory. I'm not even talking about Iraq. This could be freaking cray-cray. The utmost use of force. A barrage coming from every angle. B-2s, B-52s, cruise missiles, aircraft, you name it. Naval vessels, subs, cruisers, destroyers. Who else knows what? This is going to be, could be just like something we have not seen. I remember when I was a kid and seeing Baghdad with their anti-aircraft tracers fire, and I was like, oh my God. And I was with my friends, and we were like watching this happen in real time, and we're all hanging out in my house, and we're saying, holy shit, look what's going on. This could be way bigger than that. Now, we may not see much. There could be videos coming out of Iran and other areas.
You have the wrong joint or you have it.
I'll be right back, everybody.
I got one in my head now. It's not
I'll be
working.
right back, everybody. Let's go. Yeah, I remember, John, I remember seeing that live on TV. And yes, our missiles have a long reach. That's another thing to take into consideration. It's not like we got to be flying over a target. It could be fired hundreds, if not even 1,000 miles away. I want to see if there's anything coming in from Israel. Oh my God, he's posted a lot of stuff. Let me see if there's any talk coming from there. So he posted this at 9:22 this morning, which is an hour and a half ago. The European Parliament has declared by an overwhelming majority that the IRGC is a terrorist organization. Trump. This was at 8:28 this morning. Let's see what happens in Iran. I don't want to detail the steps I might take. The UN admits there may be more than 20,000 unalived in Iran. This is what Marco Rubio said in Davos. President Donald Trump is someone who is not limited by what others say is possible or what others say is impossible. He's not limited by things that have happened in the past, and he always puts the American people and our national security first. I don't know if that has to do with Greenland. I don't know what he's referring to there. Could be maybe Greenland. What's up, Nick? KJ? Okay, nothing there. Nothing on this one. This is the IDF. Nothing. The other side. Here's the other side. What? The other side posted this morning. President Trump. This is what they're saying. He said, "We hope no further action is needed on Iran. We want to have peace. As you know, I obliterated their nuclear program. Nobody else could have done that. And they canceled 800 executions, which was very nice. So we hope there will be further action needed." Are they on some kind of delusion? After attacking Venezuela, Iran, and preparing a new attack on Iran, threatening Denmark with an invasion, an occupation of Greenland, threatening Cuba, Colombia started trade wars with half the world. Trump now says we're going to have peace in the world. So this is this is what they're saying on the other side. Okay, so that's basically what's coming out of Israel and the other side. Okay, what's going on here? Today I just heard from someone inside he saw 3 trailers. Oh my God. It's just horrific what's going on. There's no other way to put it, what's going on in Iran. And I don't want to try to put anything in context compared to Gaza in 2 years. Let's just say 57,000 perished in Gaza in 2 years. Well, it's probably 30,000 or more in 2 weeks. And really it was those nights that they were all out, it's really based on less than a week, really. Can't really count so much the after and before. It was at that climax of protests that so many people, thousands of people, were murdered, massacred. And probably hundreds of thousands are injured, wounded. Just think of that. The numbers are just crazy to think about what happened in Iran. That's why the internet, they didn't want people to see what was really going on. It's absolutely insane. Navi says 20,000 at least in 2 nights across the country. Just think about that. 20,000 people in 2 nights perished. That's just, my God. So I honestly think whoever's saying this, the possibility of peace with this regime, been there, done that, tried that. You can't negotiate. It's not happening. That might be total propaganda coming from the other side, what I just read. That's an old statement he made last week about the 800. That's old. So I'm not buying into what the other side is saying. And that, like when I say the other side, it's someone who posts on Telegram Since October 7th, I've been monitoring all the things going on over there. That's the other side putting the propaganda from their side. You can only imagine what they put out. So I've been monitoring that for like 2 years. Yeah. Like I said, I have a feeling he's going to act. And even Tusi was mentioning this. There are a lot of people that are confused in Iran right now. And they're frustrated and they're angry and they're upset because they are really counting on the president to keep him at his word, to help them. And Tusi's convinced pretty much like I am. They are coming. The United States is getting ready. Because if not, it's going to be a huge, 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 huge mistake by the president. One that the Iranian people will never forget. Because they're going to feel betrayed. You made a promise. You're going to help us, rescue us, help us on the way. Telling us to go on the streets and protest. And you didn't come. That's the worst betrayal. That's what, it doesn't matter if you think that's right or wrong. It's what they are thinking and feeling right now in Iran. People here could defend or whatever. That's not the point. It's what the point is, what do the Iranian people think right now? And the people that are here that have family in Iran and are worried about their loved ones because they may not have word coming out from there. So this would be the hugest betrayal in their eyes if we don't do anything. Because this was a mass slaughter. This wasn't just a small uprising. This was massive across the country, and they all put their lives at risk. And Reza Pahlavi also was encouraging people to go on the streets. It's not just the president. Pahlavi too was doing it. Go out there, giving instructions to people go out there at night. So there's a lot at stake here. And I don't think the president is not going to do anything. I think he's going to. I don't see any other way. Honestly, I don't. He has to act. Otherwise, the betrayal of Obama, Biden, this is way worse. They don't have thousands of people that died based on the words of those presidents. He will indirectly, because of his words. He should have never, ever said it the first time. We're locked, loaded, and ready. We're going to come and rescue the Iranian people if they start killing the protesters. Well, that was a line. 20,000 plus more, that line has been crossed. And then it became part of executions. Now, we don't know if they're doing executions in the prisons or whatever, but I'm sure that line has been crossed too. How many lines are we going to draw now? You talk about red lines. Well, that one's a check. Forget about hundreds of people dying. Thousands! Oh, if they start killing the protesters, we're going to act. And it's going to be very, very hard, whatever he said. Well, that came and gone. Now, the reason behind lack of action is because simply we were not ready. That's the only legitimate reasoning that I could think of. that no action has taken place yet because we weren't ready. And, you know, we heard from all different sources, can't fly over our airspace, Israel saying we're not ready yet. You know, you hear all that noise out there. Bottom line is we weren't ready. And that's what I truly believe. Otherwise, it would have happened. How many times it's supposed to happen like this? People are begging, but look at worldwide. Exactly. And you guys know who are Iranians, what I'm saying. I cannot speak from my sitting here, whether it's in a fucking basement or whatever, like people have made comments in chat in the past. It's the Iranian people. It's so easy for people on the outside. I say this all the time. So easy from people on the outside to judge something that's going on somewhere else. And they're not even there. So how the hell am I? But speaking to some of the people that are Iranian that come into the chat and they're telling us what's going on inside the country. They have loved ones there. They have family there. They have friends there. And they're telling these horrific accounts of what's going on in there. And we're like, where's the help? We need help now. Now. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Dissolve. And that's what I'm saying. When we're ready. That's exactly what I'm saying. He says, sorry to say, but it would be as many lines as they cross while we prepare for successful operation. And that's what I've been saying. Not until we're ready. Because we have to defend our troops, servicemen and women. There's other considerations, bases, Israel, etc. Not until we're ready. And I said that yesterday. I know people are upset and want to see action, but not until we're ready. That we think there's a high probability of success in an operation like this. It's going to be massive. And you know they're going to try to retaliate. And you know, I don't even think they're worried about our bases anymore. I think they're going after Israel all out. I think that's going to be their main focus. They might use their proxies to target bases, but they're going all out on Israel. If they're going to go down, they're taking Israel down with them. That's the way they probably are looking at it. If we go down, you're coming with us. My prediction is U.S. will not do anything military with the exception of super targeted strikes. Iran will be left to Saudi and Israel. Ukraine to Europe. Domestic politics won't take anymore. I definitely said that the other day too. It's all NATO's responsibility dealing with Ukraine. And definitely it's going to be super targeted sites of the IRGC. They're going after IRGC. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go after regime targets as well. Definitely. They're going to try to decapitate the IRGC. They must. So it's definitely going to be targeted at their defensive and offensive operations. You have to wipe it out. And you got to hit them constant. You can't even give them a chance to launch. And those drones flying around doing the intelligence in real time can detect missiles about to launch and all that. That drone is amazing. So we've got certain assets already there, but we need all assets there. And when it is, then the president will make that decision. Oh, there goes mom's phone. Gonna start dancing. Where is it? Where is it? Scam likely. Scam likely. I'm gonna tell you too. When Netanyahu met with President Trump a few weeks ago, you know they were talking about hitting Iran. Israel is itching to go after their ballistic missile storage manufacture facilities, factories, all that. They want to go. They want to hit Iran now. I'm sure the president said, "Not so fast. Hold back." Netanyahu's itching to hit Iran. He's itching. He's just like, you know that. And there's so many things to take into consideration. Would Iran strike first, knowing they're about to get hit? Just like we always hear, one mistake, one misinterpretation, one mistake can spark this all off. Would they launch a preemptive against Israel, knowing that, screw it, let it all out before the United States has a chance to be ready? I think that's highly unlikely, but you can't say it's not impossible, because it could be possible. It's a very small percentage, but you still have to be concerned about that. Would they launch a preemptive strike against Israel? Because they might say, shit, we have nothing to lose now. We're about to get hit. We might as well just launch everything we got now while we can and target Israel. You know? That's scary. Because it could happen. I'm not saying it's gonna. It's unlikely, but how do we know? If they know they're about to get hit and lose a lot of their assets, why lose it when you could use it? And that's scary. And like I said, I'm not saying that's a high probability. It's low, but it still exists. The chance still exists. So you can only imagine the tension, the high alert the area is in right now. Let alone when everything gets in place, the carrier or carriers, whatever. And that should be there within 48 hours. I'm guessing, in position in the Arabian Sea, somewhere. Whether it's at the mouth of the Persian Gulf or maybe somewhere closer toward the Red Sea, who knows? But that shit is going to be in position soon. And like many people have said in the chat, it probably would happen on the weekend when the markets are closed. Would it be this weekend? I don't see that happening that soon, but there are people out there saying it's going to happen in the next few days. How do you know that? You have inside information? People are just guessing and speculating. Like we are here. Nobody knows. When the president says, if the president decides to go, that's when it goes. That when the commander-in-chief makes that decision, then we will know after, because you're going to hear it all over the news. Iran closed its airspace, blah, blah, blah. Then we might start seeing videos leaking out, like we did in the 12-day. There are reports of explosions in Iran. There are reports of drones and missiles heading toward Israel. Then the alerts go off in Israel. That kind of deal. So that's how we'll know. Most of us. To watch it in real time, because that night when shit was acting crazy on Flight Radar, because I was live, and I was like, uh-oh, what's going on? 6 tankers took off all at once from Qatar. I was like, what the hell? Are they about to hit? And then they just started to all disappear with their transponders. Boop, 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 boop. They all disappeared. I'm like, oh shit, are they about to attack? Then the airspace closed in Iran. I'm like, oh, is this it? And then we heard what happened afterwards. But Flight Radar can be an indicator, especially with civilian air traffic, because then you start hearing, No more flights allowed over Iran. Close their airspace. You could see how they're diverting away from Iraq. They're not traveling to Iraq because they got to clear that airspace between Iran and Israel in the event that there's an exchange. You don't want any civilian planes in the air. That's for sure. There's a lot of air traffic out there right now. Look at this. Eastern Iraq. A lot of air traffic over Iran. When this shit starts to get diverted and they start making the turn and going this way and around, when you start seeing the air traffic going below and going around, you know shit might be going down soon. So this is an indicator, the civilian air traffic. When this starts to change, then you're saying, oh shit, what's about to go down, if at all. But this could be an indicator when you start seeing the air traffic being diverted and avoiding this whole area. Because if you were watching back, I was, the air traffic was going way below. They were going down and up. They were going through Turkey and around. They were avoiding Iran completely, Iraq, Syria, Jordan, Israel. Everything just got cleared. This whole area. And that was it. They were flying over Saudi airspace and then going up this way. They were coming up around this way. And that's just like one of the things you keep an eye on. When you start seeing that civilian air traffic being diverted, and that's what happened the other night when we were live, and we seen it in real time. We started to see the changes, and it was like, especially when those 6 tankers took off, I was like, oh shit, are they going to refuel? Something's coming big? Or are they evacuating the tankers from these bases with personnel? Or because people were saying maybe there are people on the tankers. I was like, I don't know about that. But to get our assets out of there because they're concerned about it getting hit, we couldn't use their airspace. So there's a lot of things to look at when you're looking at all this. Like this moment, look like time is 25. So we just got to sit back and see how this all plays out. It's simple as that. We could speculate. We could talk about so many things. That's all it is. You hear, and there are a lot of people out there using clickbait. The war is coming. It's imminent. You know, like they're trying to. That's irresponsible because you don't know that. It looks like we might actually carry out and do some type of a strike. But to say it's definitive, no one can say that. Like Nick says, yeah, they say within the next few days and nothing happens. Exactly. But one thing will be for sure, when we have all the pieces in place, then it's different. You might start hearing more rhetoric once the pieces are in place. That's when you might start hearing a little bit more rhetoric. The U.S. naval presence is always there to protect oil flow from the Red Sea, and not just that, the Persian Gulf, the Suez Canal to the Mediterranean. We have major naval forces stationed there forever. Yes. But that Strait of Hormuz is a concern, because 20% of the oil supply travels through there. That's why that drone is flying around to monitor the Iranians if they're planning to place any mines. Just in case. Got to watch them. Because that might be part of it. They purposely will try to block that oil flow in the Persian Gulf. Especially the Strait of Hormuz, because it's so small of an area. And I've said this. It doesn't even need mines. You take a few tankers and sink them. You sink empty tankers right there. That's going to cause a blockade, and it's going to take time to remove that. It could just be sinking ships to block it. Because now you got to go in there and remove them. It's a lot harder than it sounds. So there could be military planes on the way to Iran. They have the transponders off. Who knows? Yes, definitely. They're not going to show us. Transponders are going to be off. But the point is, look what's happened in the last few years with civilian aircraft. Ukraine and Iran too. You think they want that? You think they want to cause an accident with civilian aircraft? Do you think those airlines want to risk people? That is the major indicator. Do you think we're going to attack, or they're going to attack with all those aircraft in the air? Civilian aircraft in the air? I say no, but you never know. I say hell no, but you never know. I have a good buddy who was on a destroyer there for 8 years in the 80s. He said the underwater mines were always the scariest. I can only imagine. So, yeah, that's very important to keep an eye on the Red Sea. Like you said, the Suez. And really the Persian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, because Iran is right there. Then you got Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman, whatever, I can't say it right. You know, you have the UAE on the other side, Kuwait. That is the real point of, that's serious. You mess with that, I mean, you can only imagine what happens to the oil market after that. Forget it. It's just going to skyrocket. At least $20 per barrel. Think of how that affects economies that are highly dependent, especially the Asian market. Forget it. And you know who they're going to blame, right? They're not going to blame Iran. They're going to blame us for starting this. You know that. That'll be the first thing they say. You started this whole crisis because you attacked them. You can only imagine. They're going to blame us. So it's going to have their implications. I mean, they're very serious. And the president has to take all these things under consideration. The short-term, long-term consequences of this action. That's a lot to think about. And believe me, I want more than anything to help the Iranian people. And believe me, that's a major part of this all, for the president to get involved to begin with. But you also have to think of the stakes for the entire world, that region, for us. There's a lot at stake. As that weighs so heavily on the president to make that decision. It's so easy for people on the sidelines to say, go, go, go. And I'm one of them. But it's so easy for us to say that. Think about being in the president's shoes right now to make that decision. My God. Just like anything else. When you're making a decision like that. And he'll be in the Situation Room, whether in D.C. I hope he's in D.C. and not Mar-a-Lago. Because they have a makeshift operations over there. He needs to be in D.C. And I'll tell you right now, if this is, because we don't know. We don't know what the hell could happen here. What if there's a cyber attack by the Iranians toward us here? We don't know about the cells that are here. You have to definitely put the vice president somewhere else. I mean, the doomsday plane. There's a lot at stake here. You know what I mean? It's so easy for us to say, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do that. But the consequences are unthinkable if it goes poorly. The consequences are insane. And we need to be grounded, and we need to be objective, and we need to look at it like that too. It's so easy to say, do it, go. I'm all for it. I am personally all for destroying the IRGC. I don't even care right now at this point of taking that fucker alive. I mean, I'm so done with that regime and everything that's going on in Iran. And some of us are old enough to remember. I was a small child. But to remember what happened at the embassy with Carter and then Reagan. Some of us are old enough to remember that. And seeing it. I remember seeing it on TV, blindfolded hostages at the embassy. You know? And Angel, and thank you for that, but you have to be objective, you know? You have to, because a lot of people are just, they're all like, rah, rah, let's go. We got this, we got that, we got this. Let's go. Like I said, I support helping the people of Iran. If it was up to me, I'm hitting every fucking thing I can identify as IRGC. Everything. But it's easy to say that, but if the shit hits the fan and it goes bad sideways, it's too late. There's no going back. Once you give the go, it's go. There's no turning back. And we better hope it's successful, because if it's not, God, remember, Israel's the size of New Jersey. Could you imagine thousands of missiles, including hypersonics? And who knows what's in the payload? Could it be a dirty bomb or bombs hitting Israel? Would Israel then retaliate with their, we cannot confirm or deny nuclear? And I'm talking more like tactical nukes. Could it get that crazy? How do we know it won't? Those are the questions. That's why it's scary. We just don't know the outcome. No one knows. There's a lot at risk. This is freaking seriously high risk. But like I said, I definitely want us to hit that fucking IRGC and just eliminate them. The proxies are already critical. They're in critical. All of them. Israel made sure of that. And we did too with the Houthis. We had our part in that too. But is Hamas the same? Is Hezbollah the same? Are the Houthis the same? Are the militia groups? There's still quite a bit in Iraq that have to be dealt with. But they have been crippled. So when you look at it that way, They're at their weakest point they've been in God knows how long. And even though we hear a lot of rhetoric come from the regime, how well did they do in that 12-day war, despite they say they won, Israel, they lost. Really? Really? Israel had air superiority after a fucking day. So, you could talk the talk, but that's not the evidence. The evidence says otherwise. Israel was flying their planes at will over Iranian airspace. It was like, we have total air superiority. We have total control of the skies. We can hit anything we fucking want. So what makes now different? China supplying you, Russia supplying you what? With their shit? Didn't work so well for the first time. Because before that happened, there was talk that the Russians were sending them like updated surface to air missiles in preparation for that first one. Well, that didn't work out too well. Right? So, I mean, Israel really wanted to pound and take out the regime back in June. It was the president that said, hold back. Not this time. You ain't going to stop them. So, don't get me wrong. They're a threat. But were they really a threat in June? They could, if that didn't last 12 days, if that would have lasted a month, Iran, the regime, that whole thing would have collapsed. I'm convinced. The IRGC, they had them crippled. They were doing nothing. Yeah, they were firing missiles. They sure were firing missiles. But since that, remember when all the missiles were flying? Well, they used a lot of their stockpile too. That's when they were vulnerable after unleashing that. And yeah, they got more. But they already used a lot. They were very vulnerable at that point. So I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed up to this date after what happened in the 12-day, the Iranian response and defense. Absolutely not. Israel was hitting target at will. They were just targeting. You've seen it. They were hitting targets at will. So that was Israel. Now we're talking about the United States and our force. That's a whole new level of, pounding. You know what I mean? The 6-day war against Egypt, Syria, and Jordan says it all. Israel can take care of itself. But I'm saying, we've seen what the Israelis can do with, of course, our military superiority, backing them up with the equipment and the assets logistically. Can you imagine the United States taking action? Not Israel, but us, with our force, with our might, our power. We're not talking about Israel. We're talking about us. It's a whole different level. A whole different level of you gonna get up. I mean, just think of, and it's not just going to be B-2s. There's going to be B-52s involved. There's going to be a lot involved here if it happens. They're going to be launching from different naval vessels. Now, I'm not even talking about the carrier. Subs, destroyers, cruisers. It's going to come from every fucking side. The Mediterranean, the Arabian Sea. It's going to come from the west. It's going to come from the south. It's coming from everywhere. You're getting hit. And our precision weapons unleashed on them, it's going to be raining missiles and forget about it. It's just going to be crazy. If it happens, it's not going to be some little strike. This is going to be big. That's why I say the world hasn't seen this in quite some time, what could be coming to Iran. And I think a lot of people underestimate the power of the U.S. military. I think a lot of people underestimate that. They're like, oh, the United States does that. Are you crazy? You just haven't seen it unleashed like this president is capable of unleashing. You have not seen. This isn't Russia and Ukraine. This is not. This could be something, like I said, most of us have never seen ever. And like John is there, we've seen, some of us that are older, what happened in Iraq. Forget about Afghanistan. Iraq. That initial, actually Kuwait, which led to Iraq. Some of us remember seeing that on TV, like as it was happening, and like, holy shit. Because they had the press in Baghdad where they were actually filming live. You going to get that in Tehran? No. You might have people filming it as it's happening, citizens of Iran, and you know they're going to be fucking cheering because they know the help has finally arrived. If it happens. If it happens. That's how we're going to get a lot of the video, photos coming out from the people. It's not coming from state TV. Matter of fact, state TV will be hacked. Cyber attacks are going to take out a lot of their infrastructure. There will be no state TV. They're going to shut that shit down. They're going to shut Iran down first. There's going to be a massive cyber at the same time. I'm just guessing, but I think that's a good guess. I'm driving to the store in pajamas. What? Why are you driving to the store in pajamas in the freezing cold? That makes no sense, dude. What the heck does that mean? So again, what's up, Frenzy? Yes, you're right. That's what I remember seeing. It was CNN. It was, I can't remember his name, the African-American reporter. He had a mustache. Oh my God, what was his name? He was like the big CNN reporter at the time. Oh my God. I'll never remember that name. You know who I'm talking about, right, John? You know who it was. He was their big reporter at the time. He was like their Wolf Blitzer of that time. I can't think of his name. That's exactly where we seen it on CNN. I think CNN was the only cable news program network at that time. Bernard Shaw. That's it. Bernard Shaw. That's it. That was his name. Bernard Shaw. Wow. Bernard Shaw. That's his name. That's him. That's exactly where we seen it on CNN. Bernard Shaw reporting. Holy shit. I feel so much older now. But that's who it was. Bernard Shaw. So all I know is I think we are going to strike soon. It's a short matter of time before Persia is free. I am praying that is going to happen. Like I've been explaining it for the last hour. I'm with it. I'm all go. I'm all go. But we have to think of the consequences, like I'm sure they are. If it doesn't go well, it could get really ugly. That's why we got to go in there with such a force and a constant barrage, non-stop pounding, non-stop. We have to pound them by the hour, by the minute, by the day, constant fucking, excuse my language, pounding. We gotta decapitate them. It's like a shock and awe. And I am praying for everyone over there. All the innocent people. Because I've said this many times. It's the innocent people, the civilians, caught in the crossfire. They got to do their due diligence to keep that shit down to the extreme minimum. But if you go after the IRGC, because that's in the freaking desert. You know, they have a lot of these mobile, but they do have a lot of mobile launchers within the city. We've seen Israel take them out. They put them in populated areas. Purposely, of course. That's a major concern. I wouldn't doubt they're doing it right now. They're putting launches in the streets, literally in the middle of the streets in heavily populated areas. So you take this out, you're going to also take out some of our civilians, and they're going to use it as propaganda that they're killing thousands of civilians. This is where shit gets really dicey. You know how it's done. They use hospitals, schools, mosques to launch from. You want to take it out, you're going to have to destroy the mosque or the hospital or the schools or whatever, institutions. You know they're going to do that. And that's why this is not as easy as it sounds. What's up, Witch Moon? But a lot of the larger long range is a little different. Those are the ones we have to really go after. Especially they just tested an ICBM. Their first time. That was launched towards Siberia. Those are the fuckers we got to watch out for. And these hypersonics. Because they know what got through and hit Israel. They know. You think they're stupid? You don't think they learned from the 12 day? They know what got through and what didn't. They know the drones were useless, pretty much. But they know some certain missiles got through. And you know that's what they're focusing on. Development of those. But see, when you send a barrage of a mix, you overwhelm the Iron Dome system. Because that's what they're trying to do. Overwhelm it. Where they can't hit all these targets coming in. You overwhelm the system. But at the same time you're overwhelming it, you have these hypersonics. Boom, boom, boom. You mix. They're not stupid. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next week. We'll be like, if it doesn't happen by next weekend, we have a problem. I'm not saying this weekend, next weekend. If nothing happens by next weekend, then I'm going to be like, oh shit, maybe nothing will happen. I give it 10 days. And I hate to say that, but I give it 10 days. What's up, Ali? I give it 10 days. I know that's a lot for the Iranian people to hear. But I give it 10 days from today. 10 days. Just because we're there doesn't mean it's going to happen instantaneously. We may still be bringing assets to the area as much as we can. THAADs, Patriots, countermeasures. Because I think we're more concerned about the defensive posture than the offensive. I don't think the offensive is questionable at this point. What's going to be there? I think it's about the defense. Because they're preparing for the barrage coming from Iran toward Israel. That's what they're looking at right now. And you know Jordan's being loaded up. It's not just Israel. Jordan's being loaded up too, because that's another line of defense for Israel. And I've said it yesterday, I said it the day before. Jordan is one of our closest allies in the Middle East. Forget about Saudi Arabia, Qatar, all these other countries. It is Jordan. Jordan is our closest ally in that region. You know? It's Jordan. And Jordan is here and Israel is here. They're that line before it gets to Israel. And they have been our closest allies. All these F-15s and all this other stuff that's being deployed, a lot of it is going to Jordan. Not to Saudi Arabia, not to Qatar, not to any of these other bases throughout the Middle East that we have. It's going to Jordan and Cyprus. That tells you everything. Because they don't want to hear shit from them saying you can't use our airspace. They don't want to hear that. That's why the carrier is its own island. We don't need you. But Jordan is key here. Because we do have bases there and we can launch aircraft from Jordan. And just think about that. If you've got Jordan here and you've got down here in the Arabian Sea, the carrier, it comes from the west, it comes from the south, it comes from behind the Mediterranean flying over with ships, cruise Tomahawks. So you're hitting them from definitely two sides. Now Turkey's up here, and I think that we don't give a shit. We're flying through Jordan over Iraqi airspace, and if Iraq has a problem, you take them out too. Screw that. Screw that. That's just my opinion. If any strike happens, it must be before February, unless it's a useless strike. Okay, so today is what? The 22nd? I lose track. It would, like I said, Ali, it would happen no later than next weekend. I don't think they're going to hit on the weekday because of the markets. I think it's going to happen maybe, I'm not saying, I say less than 50% chance this weekend. I'm thinking more next weekend. And I know people don't want to hear that, but if it's going to happen, I think it's not going to happen this weekend. It might happen next weekend. I may be wrong, of course. I'm guessing like everybody else guesses. Whether it goes down in a week, a month, or years from now, the war will happen eventually. Extreme autocratic theocracies and Western civilization can't coexist indefinitely. I agree. But you got to remember, at the same time all this is going on, Tehran, that population is going to lose water by summer, most likely. The economy is completely crippled. The people are going to suffer. While all this is going on, the people of Iran are suffering. Lack of food, lack of power, lack of water, lack of everything. So while all this is going on, and the oppression of the regime against the people, and the slaughter, and the killings, and the people that are wounded, rounding up people to arrest, detain, execute, worse, whatever. All this is all going on at the same time. If there's, I can't think of another time that it's just this crazy, all this shit happening at once. To a country, to their people. It's all happening at once. It's not just them going out and revolting against the regime. And yes, people can say it's all because of the economy. The people are fed up. They've lived under this regime, and they see the regime, the people that are rich, that are connected to the regime, they're living nice lives while the rest of the people are suffering. The regime is pouring the money that they do have toward the military, to the IRGC. The IRGC is worth billions and billions of dollars. This talk that the Ayatollah is worth 200 billion. 200 billion while the people are suffering. I hear Giuliani when he talks about the MEK, crooked Reza Pahlavi. What the... And this guy's not the current regime? And who do you want to put in there? It's like, what is going on? What is going on? The people, this, and it's true. Sanctions hurt the people. Because the regime is not going to worry about the people. They're going to make sure that they're okay under sanctions. They're going to make sure they thrive and survive. Fuck the people. Of course it's going to hurt the people. because they're never going to see anything coming from a regime like that. Never. It's not going to trickle down. They're not going to, whatever they're holding on to, it's not going to trickle down to the people. They're going to blame sanctions, and they do hurt the people. But who's in control of hurting the people? The people in charge. I mean, what the? And I would hope, I hope, I would hope that a majority of Americans support Iran. Do you know what I did yesterday as an experiment? Because I don't watch mainstream media. I watch local news. I don't watch the mainstream. Because depending on which one you're watching, it's going to feed you a certain angle. You know what I mean? I can't do that. I got to do my own research, which I did. Hold on. For a second. What happened, Mom?
You're a little bit dizzy.
Okay. Like
A little, not that much, but a little bit dizzy.
But dizzy because you should eat. First of all, you should eat. You should check your sugar.
I check my sugar with what?
You have your testing supplies in your room. I'll be right back. Come on. Let's go.
So what's going on over here?
Nothing. I'm talking about Iran. Come on, let's go check you. Come on. I don't know where the blood pressure thing is. Is it in your room?
How can you see anything when
I
there's
can
no
see.
light on?
I can see. Let's go to your room and check your blood. Because your blood sugar might be low. You need to eat.
My sugar, I have diabetes, not
No kidding, but your sugar could be low. Because you could get dizzy from not eating. Your sugar's low. Her sugar was a little high. Nothing crazy. She gets nervous. Her sugar was slightly high. I gave her a metformin, tested her blood. All right. What's going on? Let me catch up. Let's see. For sure, I was 11 to 91. Watch rockets fly. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that too. And like we were talking about, CNN, Bernard Shaw. I remember that as a kid with my friends in the house seeing that. We're like, oh my God, look at this. That was unbelievable. So now we all just wait and see. Pretty much that's where we're all at. But I think the number's over 30,000, hundreds of thousands wounded. God only knows how many are imprisoned or have been executed. We just don't know. Tusi's talking about UK stuff. So that's what Tusi's streaming about right now. He went live an hour ago. He'll probably do a broadcast on Iran later. And he does that. He covers a lot of the UK stuff too. Anyway, pretty much I think we're caught up on everything that's going on in Iran, or lack thereof. It's a waiting game now. Because everybody's quiet. Nobody's really talking about it. And I'm talking about politicians. They're all like, not talking about it. They're trying to, like I said, this could literally be the calm before the storm. And don't forget, the people here in the United States that live throughout the majority of the country, get ready for a really major storm. Ice, snow, cold. The cold is not going away. It's going to stick around for many of us for a week or more, possibly 2. In some places, definitely 2. For here, definitely 2 weeks cold. So prepare. Speaking of that, I got to put wood in my fire. So get ready for this crazy weather. It's like the calm before the storm here and the calm before the storm figuratively in the Middle East. Alexa, what's the temperature right now? It's got to be warm because...
It's 43 degrees right now.
I knew it.
Feeling like 39 with partly sunny skies.
I knew it because
Today's high will be 44 with a low of 20. And there's a 49% chance of a morning shower.
I knew it. You know why? Because I'm hearing thuds falling off the roof. They're sliding off the solar panels, the snow. And I'm hearing poof, poof. I knew it had to be that. It had to be warm because it's melting and sliding off the panels and hitting the ground. I'm like, what is that? And it's happening all around the house. So yeah, the snow is like sliding off the panels. Literally. And hitting the ground. And I'm like, what the hell was that? And like I said, one day is not going to do enough melting. Actually, it can make things worse. Because what melts freezes at night. Put your apple juice out there. It's 40, what is it? 43? 43 right now. That's freaking... The last time I'll see those temperatures for about till Valentine's Day. Think about that. That might be the last time I see 40s till Valentine's Day. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm actually going to check. I don't trust long-range forecasts, but I'm not a fan at all. Okay, let's see what they're saying. 41. Look at this. Major winter storm this weekend. Rain. What's the radar look like? Rain. There's no rain on there. What are they talking about? There's rain to the south. There ain't no rain down there, up where I am. Look at the weather now. 40. Tomorrow it gets to freezing. Then look, it drops. It's done. This is for here. 6 to 10 inches of snow. 15, 30, 23, 15, 20, 18, 17, 20, 19, 24, 20. Look at this shit. Oh my God. We're in February. I said Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, we hit freezing. I got 3 weeks of freaking cold weather coming. Look at this insanity. That is cray cold. And that's the high during the day. Look at night. 3, 10, -5, -2, 0, -1, 0, 3, 4. Look at this crazy cold weather coming. Holy shite. Oh shit, Salt Lake City had a 4.7 earthquake 50 minutes ago. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Ice storm threatens Texas to Virginia. Widespread power outage, travel shutdowns. Because of this. Oh my, look at the power outage risk. Holy. Oh my God. I gotta get rid of this. I'll get in trouble. Wow. So if you live in these areas, you need to pay serious attention. Widespread in the red. Holy, that's bad. That's that ice. Almost the entire state of Texas. All of Arkansas, most of Louisiana. You could say that about Mississippi, even Alabama. All the way up to Tennessee. Look at this, the Carolinas. Holy cow. Look at this. Wow. An inch possible. Northeast Louisiana, southwestern Arkansas, north central Mississippi, parts of northern Alabama, northern Georgia, upstate South Carolina. The ice is projected to occur near Atlanta. Look at all this. Scores of trees will be down. Trees and live wires will block roads. Transformers may explode. Holy shit. 15 to 30 degrees below historical averages. Historical averages. Here we go. Hold on.
You want a jacket, Billy?
Why do I want a jacket?
Because it's freezing.
I'm okay here. I have the fire on. I'm warm.
Oh, that's right.
Look at the... He's under the big bed.
Oh, good. You can get me rest.
Look at the historical averages below normal. And this is next week. That's why I said the cold is not going away. Wow. He's getting ready for work. So yeah, the people down south really, really need to prepare for this.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, they're gonna have a really bad ice storm, and it's gonna be cold everywhere for like 2-3 weeks.
Remember when the couple came here and they stayed here?
Yes, Mom.
They were going back home? And
Yep.
It was getting nasty and that's why they left.
Yes.
So this is the same thing?
I still can't get over that. There was a 4.7 earthquake in Salt Lake City
Oh my God.
like an hour ago.
Holy, that's scary.
And yeah, the major snowstorm. This is going to be for us.
Yeah, but we're more like flat. We're more like these people, like their distance they go out, and then when they get there, it's a hassle,
Yeah. 6 to 12.
6 to 12.
We're going to get a foot of snow this weekend. A foot. I got to get the snowblower
You know what
ready.
I'm gonna do too? I'm gonna help you because when
No, 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 no. You are not helping me. You
I
are
was gonna
not helping
help
me.
you to carry the wood.
No, I don't want you to
by
do that.
myself.
I don't want you to do that.
I used to do that. By
I don't
myself.
care. I don't want you to do
And
that.
I used to get the barrel.
Okay, but
What's my barrel?
there's a brand new wheelbarrow in front of the house.
Because I have one.
I know. There's one right in front. I'm seeing if the model's changed. I don't think they have that low pressure coming up.
And where's the engine? Underneath the bed?
Yes. See, this is gonna be the
You did enough.
this is gonna be the key right here. The storm system coming up the coast. It hasn't changed.
Tell me.
I'll have to check tomorrow.
What
Oh my
happened there?
God, look
What
at this
happened?
cold air coming down. Nothing, Mom. I'm trying to observe the weather and I
I thought
can't.
You said something was coming. That's why
It is for the weekend.
¿Y qué le pasa a Kendrick?
Nothing. He's getting ready for work.
Oh, no. Ay,
See, I'm concerned about this low pressure, a nor'easter. I'm really concerned. It could be worse. This could be worse than they're saying right now. I don't know yet.
You're good at weather.
I know.
I used to say you should be the weatherman.
I know.
You knew more than all of them.
So there you go. The weather's going to be real serious for a lot of us.
Yeah, for us too.
Yes, I just told you, a foot of snow.
Oh, my cats.
The cats will be fine. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get off and look for those other pads. And I got to get firewood. So I don't have no more in the house. I got to go easy with the firewood because the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks is going to be nuts with firewood.
I remember the guy, the last time he came, he says that they were not doing too much wood. Like, they didn't have a lot. Like, to cut.
Yeah, that is freaking cold, Nick. This is scary cold. I mean, for a lot. Forget about instantaneous. Out there, you do not want to be out there for long. Forget about frostbite, hypothermia. I mean, it's just going to be that cold.
I feel sorry.
Then you got to worry about power. Then you got to worry about pipes. You got to worry about all kinds of stuff.
And sometimes there's people that can't afford all that stuff, man. It breaks my heart. You know? There's a lot of people who work there just for the family and all that. And it breaks my heart
Okay, Mom.
to see them like that. And sometimes you can't help because they're not around you. If they were around you.
Anyway, I'm going to get off now. I'll be back maybe later because I need to take care of business in the house and do a few things. So everyone that may be watching, have a great rest of your day.
Safe,
Prayers for the people of Iran
yes,
and prayers for the people in this country that are going to deal with this storm too.
yes.
This is going to be hard on a lot of people
Yeah, man.
here. This storm.
In New York is more open,
So-
but in people like towns and all that, it's not that.
Prepare if you can and be safe, be well, be blessed. And just take care of yourselves.
And the kids and
All right, I'll be back later on this afternoon or evening. See everybody later.